Okay, so section B, again, this was very much you got it or you didn't. Okay, it was quite clear that some people had done a lot of prep work for OO coding, and some people did very little. The first question, though, explain what an array, why an array is suitable data structure for to represent the road. A lot of you again missed out on marks due to exam technique. Okay, so explain why an array is suitable to represent the road. And then beforehand, it has loads of lovely information. Okay, some of you are really getting the habit of skipping over all that lovely information and going straight into the question. Don't do that, okay? Because you lose marks. Because a lot of you said, "Oh, I know what array is. Arrays are static. Amazing, I got the mark." No, because why is that important for this scenario? Arrays are static. So their size does not change. This is useful as the number of spaces in the road will also not change. 1 mark for stating that it is static, does not change. 1 mark for saying that actually the road has a fixed number of size. Okay, that's applying it back to the question. Dead simple. This is not a hard question, guys, but a lot of you aren't doing the exam technique, which is linking back to that scenario. That scenario is important. They do not write anything just for kicks. Everything they write in the exam is for you to use to help you get the answers right. Okay? Please stop reading the questions and the detail of the questions and linking your questions back, because these are silly, silly marks to lose. What else could I write? Well, okay. Well, what else do I know about arrays? Arrays have a fixed data type, which is useful because the data type being stored also does not change. Get the idea? I'm just linking back. So each space in the road will store a null value or a prize object. Okay, the data type being stored, which is prize, or which is a prize object. Does not change. Okay, right, moving on. The character prize is designed as a separate classes. 10 of the spaces on the road will contain an instance of the class prize. The other spaces will be empty. Brilliant. The class design for prize is here. Remember, I talked about class diagrams as more often than I can think about. Okay, so please, look at them really carefully. Okay, because this is how you're going to get the marks. Okay, so new is the constructor method. The name, type, and value are passed to the constructor as parameters, which then assigns these to the attributes. Brilliant. The method getName returns data in the attribute name. Write the method getName. Now, this was badly done, and I can't express how disappointed I was when people got this wrong, because how many times have we done getters and setters in class? I mean, I do it as almost an afterthought now, so I write a few getters and setters and get you to do it. So we have done practice on getters and setters. I mean, we've probably done about 30 or 40 times if you add up every single individual get and set method I have got you guys to write. So this should be second nature at this stage. I think some of you are copy and pasting without thinking how to write a getter. So how to write a getter in Python? Def, get name, self, no other parameters. Okay, in the mark scheme it says except self as a parameter and nothing else. Because why would I pass through a name if I'm getting it out? I wouldn't. That's not how getters work. So I get name. Then, excuse me. Then when I return, I need to return self dot name. Notice I've put underscore, and why I've done that is because name is private, and in Python I use 2 underscores. If you use Python it must be correct Python. You cannot just write name. Because it's not right correct Python, you won't get the mark. If I was doing this in pseudocode, I'd go function. So I'd write function because it's a function. Get name. I wouldn't have self. Then I return name. Now notice I don't need to put private name or anything like that because that's not how it works. And because this is a method, public function get name. Okay, so you either write it in Python, but make sure it's correct Python. Let's make the correct Python again, fill in the scores, or you write it in pseudocode. Don't mix and match because as soon as you mix and match, you lose marks. Okay, now again, I don't know how many times I have explained how to create an object, but here's my millionth time. So to create an object, I need to store it in something. I then need to put the name of the class that I'm creating an object of. I then need to say what's going into it. So box, money, and some of you did this, and that is wrong. And the reason why it's wrong is because 25 is not a string, it's an integer. And if you notice in the question, it says box, quotes, money, quotes, value, no quotes. It matches, doesn't it? Okay, that was a silly one and you lost a mark for it. If you're doing this in pseudocode, you put new there. Be really clear there's a space there. If you don't put space there, it's wrong. Okay. Some of you put new and prize really close together, and I couldn't really tell whether there was a space there or not. Where some of you then got confused is that, oh my god, I've got an array. How do I put something into an array? Well, how do I add anything to an array? So imagine this is a normal array and I put a number into it. Well, that's how I would do it, wouldn't it? I'm trying to put an object into it. That's how I do it. Okay. Some of you kind of got really confused and started doing some really random things. So I saw things like this, or prize, then something like box, comma, money. I mean, we've never done anything like that before. So that again shows a lack of understanding of coding. It shows a lack of revision and practice. So if you can't get to that point, you need to revise a lot more. Moving on to the last question. Now, this one was an interesting one because it says describe decisions that will need to be made in this algorithm and how these will affect the program flow. Now, a decision is not a sequential action. It's going to be a decision, so it's going to be something like an if statement. It could be the condition on a while loop. Anything that changes the program flow is always going to be an if or a while or selection or iteration. Okay, therefore, describe the decision. Well, it is not picking a random space. That is not a decision. What that is, so the decision being made in this one, well, if we look at it, it picks a random space. Awesome. Okay, check to see if that space has already been taken. That's the decision. If it has, then another space needs to be picked. If it is free, place the prize at that space. 3 marks, easy peasy. What is the decision being made? What happens if it's true? What happens if it's false? Okay, a lot of you misunderstood what was meant by decision. I'm thinking, well, I've made a decision by picking a space. That's not how it works. Okay, rand int will pick a number. There's no choice there. It picks at random. Okay, there's no choice. Choices, decisions are always selection, iteration, if statements, switch case if you really want to get pedantic, while loops, for loops, and things like that.